Alright, welcome back. Haven't got much done this week. Still kind of dealing with some neck nerve issues, so I've kind of been unable to really do much because I get hurting and it's just no fun. So I'll hopefully get through this soon and get back to doing some solid building because this is not fun. Can't seem to get any relief. I think I got a pinched nerve. It's got my whole damn arm hurting and things like that. So haven't been able to sleep very well. But I took some pain meds today and decided just to come out and do some stuff anyway. So I went ahead and you can't see them, but I went ahead and made new leads or longer leads for the battery. I got those ran forward. This is going to obviously have another XT60 female end on it for the battery. I just left them a little long because I don't know, where I'm going to put the batteries and how long the batteries have really long leads on them anyway. So I may have to trim a little bit off, but probably not too much. So got one for each side on each turbine. Here's the telemetry adapters they ran. I made some longer leads here, one on each side. They'll both plug into and I did test it. I plugged both telemetry adapters in for the motors and the one for the Zycoig failsafe and sequencer, and got it all working. The only thing you have to deal with is because I guess the 32, they finally updated it to Fahrenheit for the American folks, whereas my 18MZ still has Celsius, so there's no PSI telemetry in Fataba's sensors, so you always had to select a temperature. So you would select temperature and then it would display 50 Celsius, which was essentially 50 PSI. Well, when you switch Celsius to Fahrenheit, there's a conversion, so the temperature was reading in Fahrenheit much higher and didn't correlate to what I'm seeing on the screen. So basically what I have to do is fill it to 105 PSI or whatever I want to fill it to and note what it says in Fahrenheit, or just do the conversion, and then I know mentally that when I hit that in Fahrenheit, that's 105 PSI. So it sucks you can't change from Celsius to Fahrenheit, but yeah, it is what it is. I literally just have that so I can tell how much pressure I have in the system, so when I'm filling it. I got the equipment tray in, and there's the gyro with the 3D printed gyro mount is attached. I basically took I forget what they call it, like a recess drill bit, and used a flush kind of like screw to attach those to the board. You have to kind of heat it a little bit to get this guy in because it's so tight, which is nice. And then put the power system on the board as well. Cut the front channel, which I've already talked about now, and I have all the wires that are coming from the air valves and the sequencers are all ran right out that little slit, so they'll plug into these front ports. And then of course the big beefy S-bus cables, 2 on each side, running down towards the back to the servos. Back trays in and complete. The only thing I have left to hook up, I did hook up the fuel tank lines for the pickups that go into the UATs. And I need to attach my fill lines. That's the only thing that's left. Just some little, probably just use Tygon because it's flexible with the plugs. And I need to put either some lock wire on this or the clamps. I'll probably just do some lock wire. And then back here you can see this is where my hubs will be. I already put the center tank in just to check there's enough gap here. This is the Y harnesses that I added. I got these kind of that go all the way to the plug. versus having one lead come out and then wind off. I wanted something short to do this with. So that part of the Y is, I guess it would be more of a B harness with it. But this goes to the telemetry adapter. This will be basically just stuck on the wall of the tank here with some shoe goop. So if I want to plug in my GCU, I can. So, and that's throttle. I'm sorry, that's pump, and then this lead right here is throttle. So everything's set. I glued in another one of these right on this back wall on each side to hold the fuel line, keep it from flapping around. The only thing I got to do with this is I was 3D printing them. I don't know if I still got it in here or not. But I've been playing around with a 3D printer. You know, I got some XT holders. I printed some Fatava, and this is, you know, all this outer part will come off. That's just the brim that I printed with. And I guess I must have thrown it away unless it's in my pocket here. Hold on me. But there was somebody that posted some 3D file STLs on, oh, here they are, on RC Universe of different things. And this one that I printed, it's hard to see there, but they had the airline holders, the 3mm, 4mm fuel holders, servo holders, and then this one, this little 3 one here is for the cable. But the problem is this cable being longer, it's a bigger gauge, so I just did a second print and it still didn't clip onto the wires, so I'm gonna upscale this a little bit more, and I'll just keep going up until the wire will actually clip in. That'll give me the right size I need. So I'm just learning 3D printing. I've got a FL Sun V400 and it'll print at like 400. You can actually update it, the firmware, and it supposedly will print at 600, but I don't even typically print at full 400 millimeters per second because it's crazy fast. So, but yeah, I printed these, you know, you can kind of see them. This stuff will pop out. I left it on the brim, that way if I wanted to, that way it's kind of, if I glue it to something, it's there, and I just pop this ugly part off, and it gives it spacing and everything. Turned out pretty good there. This one did anyways. I just did some different sizings. These are be pretty cool to glue on stuff if you wanted, just for, you know, and you can make whatever you want, but like I said, just playing around with it a little bit. Yeah, and that's about it. I'm kind of in that tidying up, installing the last bit of stuff. Really the only like true building stuff I got to do is I still have to glue on a block to the fuel tank and attach it right here, and then I want to put that vertical, like a thin, maybe a 1/4 inch or an 1/8 inch ply vertical beam that glues onto this outer wall and glues to the top here and glues to this. That way it keeps it in and out from moving, and then it's attached at the back, because and like I said before, you can't push it anymore. Like, it goes against these formed bulkheads in here, so it's not going to go anywhere once you essentially push on it to the side, and you know, it's not going to go back because it's hitting that, and then if you put the block there, it'll keep it from going forward. So that's really all I have to do. And then once I've got everything how I want it, I'll just put the center tank in at that point, and it'll probably just be put in. I might make a little mount here at the back and then run some shoe goop right here to hold it, because I want to make it easy to remove if need be, to get this stuff in there. I'm a little worried that my air tanks may be, I've got two 100, no, those aren't 100s, those are 700 milliliters. Those are the large JMP tanks. And I've got one for the gear and then one for brakes / bay doors. But with the Canopy electric like it is now, they're really the only thing that is working off that one air cylinder is the gear doors and the gear. So if I can get I guess typically 2 cycles on it is really all I need. I need an up and a down, or down and an up, whatever how you want to say it. I might see if I can get to like a third, just for room for error, but I'm worried I may have to add like a third cylinder, which is not a big deal because there's plenty of room there. See right here. So if I want to attach, the third one, I'll just push them over and attach a third one into, it's kind of hard to see them. There they are. And they're just sitting in there right now. I haven't like hard mounted them, but I could easily put a third if I needed to for the landing gear. And that's it for this one, man. I'm trying to get this one done. I want to fly it at Mississippi Jets, which is coming up in April. If you've never been, they didn't have it last year due to some, unforeseen, things come up in real world, so they weren't able to cancel it. In the years prior to that, there was COVID issues. So this will be the first one that I've been able to go to in a long time, because last one I went to was right before I moved to Texas, and then obviously when I was in Texas, I didn't come to any. And then of course, once I retired and moved back here, COVID, and then of course what happened last year, which canceled last year's event. So it's a good event. It's one of 3 that I go to. I go to Mississippi Jets, 100%, 1000% Kentucky Jets, and then I always go to Georgia Jets, because that's close to my hometown, and it's a good event, and that kind of spaces them out through the flying season. I wish there were more I could go to, and maybe some down the road I will, when I'm not having to work and having to save up time and stuff like that. So, but anyway, so I'm trying to get this done and get it at least this week. I've said that for the last 2, but it will be, because I'm at that point now where I'm need to start plugging stuff up and checking it and making sure everything's working, and just kind of getting batteries put in and start to CG it. And I want to get it to that part where I can just, sit down and just put it together, and then just do the final setup on it, and then run engines this week, because I want to jump on some other jets that I will show. So I got that guy. I got the big 1.6, I believe it's like a 1.6 scale Su-27 that I got to build. I've got to tear into my Tomcat and fix the fuel leak. I think I've got it's probably a busted tank. I think I patched those tanks, and I bet you the plug that I glued on didn't hold, because I had to redo where they put the pickups. So if it's that, easy fix. It's either going to be that or a split line. Probably more so the tank's going to have to be fixed. I'm going to have to pull the nose off, which with this thing is hideous. It takes forever. I mean, I said I would never do it again. I said if I ever had to take this thing apart again, I would just sell it. Well, that's not true. So what I'm going to do, I want to fly this one in Mississippi as well. So I'm going to definitely, once the F-22 is done, I'll start working on the SU, but I definitely got to get this torn apart and fixed. Shouldn't take too long. And then I got to get the little guy over there, the A7. I got to check it. I think I had to fix one pylon after the last event I flew it at, and then I think that landing gear bulkhead needs to be fixed, because I got a feeling that it's come loose in there. So, but those should be fairly quick. This one will take a little bit long. Sorry, this one will take a little bit longer because there are a couple air cylinders left in here that are original, like the air brakes and the canopy. And this has like an automatic lock in it. So when the canopy comes down, it has like a button valve that charges and locks the front of the canopy. So what I'm definitely going to do is probably ditch the air cylinder on the canopy, which will allow me to get rid of a valve. And no, I don't know, because then I have to change out the locking. I really want to get rid of canopy air system, because that lets me get rid of basically an air valve and the button valve and the air cylinder. So I may go ahead and swap out to a linear actuator, Definitely need to replace those because I replaced all the gear door ones with ultra precision air cylinders, because the Skymasters just leak. Even if you repair them, they end up leaking, so I just got rid of them. But I didn't replace the speed brakes because I never really use them, but I would like to get to where I could use them. So I'm definitely, because I do have a small air leak in this thing, and it's got a lot of air tanks, so it takes a lot to fill it up. So I want to get rid of those and put new air cylinders back there, which shouldn't be too bad. Biggest part of this is going to be the fuel leak. If I can come up with an easy way to swap out the canopy and do like a lock system, I might just replace the air cylinder with a linear actuator, and then just run 2 little wires up to the nose here and put like a little mini servo that pushes and pulls the 2 wires. Because essentially what you have here is a little slide piece that the front little peg, it's got like a little hook on it, comes down through the cutout, and then this G10 piece that's connected to the air cylinder pushes and locks it. So that could easily be done with a servo. It's just very little room in there, and it all depends on the time. But definitely got to fix the fuel leak on that. And then of course got the big giant guy here, which is about 70% complete. I don't have a motor for it, but all the servos and the fuel tanks are in. I'm just at the point where I'm having to essentially start running and hooking stuff up. So that's to come too. This was probably going to be a Kentucky Jets, which is July. Definitely Kentucky Jets July. But the good news is this big guy may end up falling under the large model turbine 1, because based off of what I'm seeing from other people with their weights, it'll be close. Like, I don't have the thrust vectoring, which is metal stuff that you got to put in the tail, big bulky thrust vectoring plus 2 servos per thrust vectoring. So there's 4 servos and these big, it's probably 6+ pounds that I don't have in the tail of this now because I didn't do the thrust vectoring. And these daggum things are solid resin or whatever they use to make them. So I'm gonna basically take them off because they're just, they weigh a ton. And little things like that, cut it open, hollow it out, get rid of weight there. I'd much rather move batteries forward and add weight if needed, but ultimately do CGM with batteries and equipment. And if I can do it and kind of get it to what I'm seeing, it will be under, as crazy as that sounds, it'll be under the 1, which is a different inspection and an easier inspection than the 2. We've already done some of the stuff for the 2 because that's just what we're planning on. And I actually had the large model inspector over here yesterday, and we went through this and we did the Mac. The Mac is good. Way to go, Skymaster. We did the minimum torque required. So I'm using the Fatabas, which are 9/16 at 7.4. If I do a 1/2 inch arm, it'll give me 400 ounces to spare. If I do a 1 inch arm, it's going to be like 100 and something inches to spare, above the minimum, So regardless of what I use for an arm, long as I'm 1 inch or less, I'll have excess torque to meet that requirement. And this one's already been proven. We know the CG, most people will either do it on the spar or just forward. So that's not an unknown. And from what I've seen of the pictures, that it'll be easier to do it on this one. The neutral position on these guys is about like that. So it makes it a little bit easier because it's not an unknown like some other jets are these days. So this one should be a fairly easy, and I've seen it fly. It's a good flying jet. So, but sorry, 20 minutes here, man. I'm just trying to catch you guys up. I haven't done any videos in a while, and I'm still looking into camera system. I think you guys can let me know what you think about this. I've looked at stuff that you set it up and it tracks you, but that's not gonna, I'm still gonna be like, oh, I gotta grab the camera and show you guys in here. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is just get a damn GoPro. What do you call them? Is that it? GoPros? Whatever that is. It's the little, you know, it's what everybody uses for everything. You know, sports, aviation. They'll just strap them to stuff. I believe it's a GoPro. Yeah, but they have like a little. Basically, you can mount the camera to like a little strap thingy that you wear on your head. So it'd be like, you know, like me just moving my head, looking at stuff. You would get everything I see. You know, you'd be seeing it like this. And I think that's going to be the best way to do future builds. You know, have a camera, you know, just set up to do. That's the hard part, is if you try to do like YouTube professionally, you know, you almost need somebody doing filming for you. You know, while you do stuff and then you do the video editing. I ain't got the time to do that. I've got 2 jobs essentially. This is, I'm not making this a job. This is what I do for fun and relaxation, but it's still, it's almost like a third, you know. So I don't have the time to be like Mr. Professional YouTuber. I mean, if that was my primary job, yeah. And, you know, I'm going to keep going with it. You know, I've gotten a ton of new subscribers lately. Thanks, everybody. I had a couple of my recent videos get over like 1,300 views within a few days, which is good. So if you like my videos, do that. And I hate, man, gotta do the same thing everybody else does. Just click that subscribe button and follow and give me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs down, whatever. But I would really like comments, man. That's what I like doing. I like helping people. I learn when I do these because people will say stuff that I didn't know or they've had one. But I mainly do these to help people that come behind me because they don't come with instructions. You know, I like to promote the hobby. I like to, you know, show people the good, the bad, the ugly of these jets, especially when a new one comes out, and, you know, help people make them where they need to be, because I don't know many of these model companies that are producing jets that are really all that like they should be coming out. But I've proved that you can take some pretty rotten jets and make them, you know, make them fly and fly like they need to be something you can that will last more than a few flights. So because I don't have deep pockets like that, so my models typically, one, they mean something to me. I have some reason why I like that particular model, and 2, I like to keep my models for a long time, so they have to be durable, they have to be right, and I don't want to waste money, you know, because I don't have a lot of it. So, but I like to help people. I like to help people that come behind me because these don't come with instructions. So it's for that, you know, it's to help people answer questions, learn some stuff along the way, and, you know, hopefully make the hobby better, because Lord knows the current state of the hobby is kind of, it's all over the place. And then external stuff to the hobbies, you know, FA crap and all that stuff is kind of getting out of control. So the more we can make our models fly and not crash and cause big incidents, the better. So, but all right, guys, that's 23 minutes of video. Let me know what you guys think about anything. That's what this is about for me, is getting people engaged. So let me know what you think about the video stuff for sure. Cheers.